Hey, good morning. This is day, day 8. Wow, can you believe this? Day 8 and day 9 that I'm here. And I wanted to just talk a little bit about my day as it started out. So this is, I guess, a little bit of a testimony and a trial, right? So, last night I was checking my email and I noticed that I got an email from Hertz. And Hertz was basically saying they put a hold on my credit card for $1,000. $3,000. I'm sorry, $3,000. I'm like, what the heck are they talking about? $3,000. So I'm looking at this, and they're saying this is the rental, the rental contract, and they're charging me $1,000 a week for a car. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is, when I made the reservation. I made the reservation last year. The whole rental was $500, and I'm using my IBM discount, for that. They allow that to do that for personal use. So, try and contact somebody from Hertz last night. And of course, when I try and call, the billing department is closed. They're not there. So they told me to call in the morning. So I called in the morning, and I get someone from the billing, but they're saying, well, this is the corporate, right? And I said, well, this is a post bill. We're the post billing. We can't handle things, from the local place where you rented it, since they haven't loaded it up yet. So you have to talk to somebody locally. All right. So I called. Of course, I keep calling this morning and haven't gotten an answer from. And it's weird because I rented from the airport, so I haven't gotten an answer. Open up at 7 and nobody's answered, so it's kind of weird. But any event, the thing that I want to talk about is, that was messing up my mojo. Right? Last night, I couldn't sleep. I was like, I'm talking about $3,000. It was just really bothering me. And so I got up early this morning. It was like 4:25, 4:30, and it's 7:30 you guys' time. And I called my wife. I was like, Ellen, she says, well, how you doing? I know it's early. I said, yeah. She said, oh, you're right. And I was like, no. And I told her what was going on. So, she directly, went right to scripture and went to Psalm 34:17, which was, the righteous cry and the Lord hears and delivers them out of all of their troubles. And, she prayed and everything, and that was very comforting. So thank you for doing that. But even as I was listening to the prayer, and she was talking, I didn't feel very righteous right now, and I couldn't understand why. And I mentioned that to Ellen, and we talked through that a little bit. But I just didn't feel very righteous at that point. And it took me a little while to this morning to kind of understand what was actually going on there. My challenge was I kept focusing on the why, which is absolutely toxic. It's just toxic. It's toxic for me. It's toxic for relationships. Whenever you ask your partner why they did something or something like that, it just puts them immediately on the defensive. So it was just toxic. It was sending me down this rabbit hole of, why did Hertz do this? Why are they charging me this $3,000? Or trying to charge me this $3,000, moving forward. So I realized that I've got to not focus on the why. And I opened up my prayer app this morning, and it said, it brought me to Joshua 6:7, and basically it said, then he said to the people, go forward and march around the city, and let the armed men go on before the ark of the Lord. And so just some context. This is when, the Lord told Joshua to take the army around and 7 times around Jericho. And you know what? There was no why in that question. In that segment of scripture, Joshua was obedient to the Lord, and he did what the Lord asked him to do. And so I started reflecting on it, and I was like, wow, there's no why there. So why am I focused on the why? Why don't I just be obedient to the Lord to allow Him to, address this situation? My response needs to be forgiveness. I have to forgive Hertz for trying to charge me this crazy amount of money. I have to forgive them. And once I'm able to forgive them, then I'm able to kind of respond in an appropriate way to hear what the Lord has for me to do and how to respond to the situation. It took me a while to get there, but I realized that, you know what? This is not about Hertz. This is not about $3,000. This is about me. And how am I going to respond to what the Lord has for me to do? How am I going to seek Him? How am I going to follow His commandments? Am I going to listen to Him, or am I going to try and figure this thing out on my own? So now that I've gotten to that space, I have a little bit more mojo back. Now, it's not resolved yet, but I don't have to worry about that. All I have to worry about is how am I going to respond to the Lord and let Him work it all out. So I'm at a much better place than I was this morning. So this is, I don't know if this is going to help anybody this morning, but it certainly was a wake-up call for me to just kind of reflect on, how I need to be moving forward, and not just this kind of stuff, but in every aspect of my life. Now, it's not resolved yet, but I don't care. God's going to figure this thing out for me, and I can still enjoy this track meet without having to worry about the $3,000 car rental bill. That's crazy. So, thank you guys for listening. This is going to be a good day in track and field this evening as well. So I'm looking forward to another evening of track and field, and I'll talk to you guys on the second edition. Bye bye.